left to right here, from our left to right, we've got Coach Langel, Oliver Lynch-Daniels, Keegan Records, and Tucker Richardson. Coach, if you want to start us off with an opening statement, then we'll open it up to questions for the players. We'll let them get out of here, and then we'll finish up with any questions for Coach.
Yeah, this is why you signed up for coaching. Not to be a champion, but to get to coach a group like that I got to coach this season so far. These three individuals are just kind of representative of who we are and where our values are. They've worked incredibly hard. They've been incredibly together. They've all got the spotlight at some point, and they don't care for 1 second about the spotlight. They're committed to one another. It's a joy to be a part of, to be honest with you. Today was icing on the cake, so to speak, in terms of our season. You know, I've kind of kept my hands off of this group. We go through the rhythm and try and stay connected, and so that we can have the best chance of playing the best we can. But you know, when you've got these three guys and the group that we have, really not just the three of them, it's a joy to be their coach.
Thank you, Coach. Questions for the players?
What were the nerves like heading into the night, and how quickly did those get eased?
Shout out Coleman for supporting us since the Loyola game, I just want to say. Honestly, I feel like I was excited more than nervous. I mean, I've been lucky enough for this to be my 5th championship. So all day just kind of like trying to find things to do, to not think about the game, and just the excitement kind of gets to you. And then when you get in the building and there's such an energy and a buzz because of the crowd that we had, that really kind of like just gets you going, to be honest. It's like hard to explain, but I think once the game settled in and we got into it, we got into a rhythm. We missed our first couple shots, but then once we got into a rhythm, I felt like we were kind of good from there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, we missed our first couple shots, but I don't think anybody worried. We knew that we would just get in a rhythm and find our way, and I think this just speaks to who we are and how we operate as a team. But like Tuck said, it's just a lot of excitement going into the game. I mean, obviously nerves come with it because that's just how your body works. But yeah, I mean, it was incredible having everybody there, having a great atmosphere.
Yeah, I think we just put the work in all year long, so that helps when it comes down to the end of the season. You know, we just rely on the work we put in and everybody playing well. And you know, we'd all been in that situation before for the most part, so it makes it easy, and the nerves kind of go away basically once the ball tips, I would say.
So the team went 26-8 basically this season. Can you talk about what has made this team a success?
I think Coach touched on it a little bit, but just like a group of low-maintenance guys who have all bought in and had one common goal, which is to win. Like, there were ups and downs, especially towards the beginning of the season in non-conference play, and we were always a process over result team. And then once we get into Patriot League play and the wins start piling up and we start playing better and our hard work starts to kind of pay off, it's just like a testament to this group. So I think when a group of guys like we have just buys in to what the coaches say and what we've all been saying all year, we can do something special, which is what we were able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think just everybody walks through these doors every day just excited to be here, excited to get extra workouts in, excited to watch extra film. It just speaks to, I mean, everybody on the team. I mean, when we're all excited about that stuff and we come together, I mean, wins will come, and they have come this year, and we'll look to keep getting some more, but yeah.
Yeah, so I came here because I want to be a part of winning culture, and with winning culture it comes like accountability, and you know, players holding you accountable, coaches holding you accountable, and I think every day we were just held accountable to get better in practice, and we kept working hard, and you know, the results came with it.
Tucker, was the triple-double intentional? It seemed intentional.
It was because I saw your tweet the other day that said I had to get in the Loyola game. No, honestly, stats are kind of in the back of your mind as a player. It's like hard to say that you don't think about them, but I honestly didn't know until someone came up to me at the end of the game. So it's cool, but obviously I care way more about winning a championship.
After the Loyola game, he said he'd never get a triple-double again.
Yeah.
He said there was no chance.
I call him crazy.
Oliver, did you have a goal in mind heading into this season of what you wanted to shoot from three?
No, not at all. I mean, for the most part, I had conversation with Coach, and he said, you know, you're not going to shoot 50% from three. So, and I agreed with him. I was like, yeah, you know, I probably shouldn't. But I mean, when you've got guys that everybody's got to, you know, play against and contest, you know, I just get open. So it helps a lot when you got everybody that can, you know, make plays, and so it's just really easy. I mean, I just make open shots, and you just rely on the work that you put in. So
He's the best shooter in the country. He's being modest. Best shooter in the country.
It's easy when I can kick it out and just start running back on defense because I know it's going. It's pretty easy.
Could you talk about what it means to you to make another trip to the NCAA tournament and have another shot at that?
Yeah, it means a lot. I mean, I think we all take a lot of pride in representing the school, and everybody, you know, has their own story of where they come from. So it means a lot to go out there and represent everything that you mean as a group and as individuals. But I think it's just, you know, we try to stick to our process and keep working hard to, you know, try to shine on that stage and take the next step and win one of those games. I think everybody's happy that we're here, but we're not satisfied yet. We're gonna, you know, keep going and try to get a win. But yeah.
I think like the simple answer is like what you dream about as a kid growing up playing basketball was to play in March Madness. So it's like the coolest thing you can do as a basketball player, as a college basketball player. So I think that it'll be important for us to kind of like live in the moment when we're there and experience it. Even having been there a few other times, it's such a special moment that you'll never forget. So really trying to live in the moment and just take every day as it comes, even starting with Selection Sunday.
yeah, I'll second off what Keegan said. I think we're gonna keep going, keep pushing, and gonna make something happen there. So yeah.
Any other questions for the players?
One more. All of you have been to the NCAA tournament in the past. Are there any lessons that you have drawn from those previous experiences that could help you this time around?
I feel like at this point, because the past couple of times we've been up in games or been in those games, like a high major team that we're going to end up probably playing isn't going to take us as lightly. So, but I think we always go into those games with a really good game plan. The coaches do a really good job of having us prepared, and because we're dangerous three-point shooting team, it seems like we tend to have a chance in those games. So getting over that hump's going to be really, really difficult, really hard to actually win one. But I think it's possible with this group of guys.
Yeah, I think the main thing is a lot of guys have experience, so we know there's a lot of ups and downs. We played in some pretty crazy environments, so we know, what's to be expected and what's going to come. But I think, just staying composed and try to stay in our rhythm and play Colgate basketball is what we're going to try to do. So.
Yeah, I think just with the atmosphere and everything, the emotions are always high in a March Madness game, and just trying to stay just like even keel, stay, don't get too high, don't get too low. Like Arkansas, we were up 14. And we kind of let that slip away. But yeah, I think we just got to stick to a game plan that we'll have. And, I know everybody's going to be playing their hardest, so we'll have a good shot.
Any other questions for players? All right, that's pretty good.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Questions for Coach Langel?
Coach, how does this team compare to the other teams you've coached?
Yeah, I've been asked that question a couple times this year, and I don't really have an answer for it. It doesn't cross my mind. I'm not someone who compares one thing to the next. This is as special a group as you get to coach. Again, we have one guy who won Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year. He was preseason defensive and predicted to be Player of the Year. He was the academic scholar athlete of the year, and he has no ego. And so he's perfectly happy leading the team in assists as he is in points or whatever it takes, guarding the other team's best player. And so I think when you have someone who's positioned like that in his 5th year of college, who's you know, done everything you asked in the classroom and been a person of the community, the team kind of takes on that identity. It always does when you look at leadership. And so, you know, this group has been special in that there's literally not one day where we had to worry about, oh, how's this guy feeling, or is that guy, you know, worried about this or his own personal agenda. And again, that's extraordinary when you're dealing with people their age in the society that they live in today. I mean, you see them on their phones right now, like they're when it comes to basketball and our team, all they care about is one another and doing what they can for us to stay in our process and find a way to win.
Any other questions for Coach? Coach, I've got one. So Colgate ranks #1 in the country in field goal percentage, 3-point field goal percentage, second assists per game. What are you drawing up in those huddles to get the offense clicking like that?
It's a good question, Jordan, and the answer is mostly nothing. John Crispin, who I grew up with in South Jersey, played at Penn State and UCLA, and he was doing the game on Westwood 1. And he said, you really don't run any set plays. And I said, yeah, that's right, John. We don't. We try and teach our guys how to play, and then they read the defense. And so I think that's why we're incredibly difficult to guard, is because we now have experienced pieces that can score in a lot of different ways. Inside, outside, we can pass the ball. We can, you know, Braden Smith is extremely talented for a young guy. He creates off the bounce. We've got great shooting. You know, when you put a smaller guy on Ryan Moffitt, he goes inside and scores in our conference. And so as a coach, we just try and keep them focused on the spacing and what the coverages of the opposition is trying to do so that they can make the decisions that lead to good chances for us to score.
Any other questions for Coach?
Yeah, Coach, is every year different, or just falling, you know, competing with Arkansas, falling just short, competing with Wisconsin, falling just short? Does that give you, do you think that gives you an edge going into this year? Some of the same players getting the chance to do that again?
Yeah, I can add Tennessee into that mix
Right,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah, I think we're all a residue of our experiences, right? Like those moments create who we are. And so for this group, having been in those games, you know, Oliver just said it right here. We were up a bunch against Arkansas. Well, I hope that if we can get in a situation where, you know, you play great, you make a bunch of shots, you've got that they're not too excited, that they can stay in the moment. But when it comes to this tournament, that, you know, and I had a chance to be in it as a player and as an assistant coach, there's so many factors that go into, you know, what is ultimately going to be an upset situation. I mean, we're not going to have a great seed. We're going to play one of the best teams in the country. Where it'll be, when it'll be, who they'll be, what the matchup looks like. You know, there are certain teams, and we've had a couple good matchups that, you know, aren't a team. You know, we played Auburn this year. Now it was at Auburn, but that was a really hard matchup for our team, the way they played, how the style was. So there's so many things that factor into these games. But I like the versatility of our group. I like the togetherness of our group. I like that they have those experiences and they pay attention. They listen to what you're trying to get accomplished and try and execute that.
Any other questions for Coach Langel?
Just one question, Coach. Does it say anything special about this program when you look at a guy like Sean O'Brien on the other sideline already as a coach, who was on that first Colgate team under you to go to a championship game?
I'm really proud that we have former players travel great distances to be here. Obviously, we have a little bit of history and tradition, you know, in modern day when O'Donnell was here, and some good teams, you know, around O'Donnell that were close. And so now to hear from, you know, we're a small school, but when I hear from former players and alumni who love when we're on CBS Sports or tuning into ESPN Plus because they're proud of our program, as a coach, that's what you can be most proud of. And so it's really exciting that our guys recognize that, they feel that, and they play for those who have come before them and those who are going to come after them. And that's part of what their motivation is to do the work that they do.
Any other questions for Coach?
Thank you.
Where?